This is Danny Flex and welcome to SecondsOut FLEXpectations. We're here at the salubrious Landmark Hotel in London's Marylebone, and having been inspired perhaps by Radio Raheem linking up recently with Michelle Joy Phelps, I feel a bit threatened, but I took the positives from it and I've decided to bring my own piece of eye candy. Leon Witter from ProBoxingFans.com is joining me.
Blushing. You got me blushing. Eye candy. I didn't know you look at me that way, bro.
What a way to find out on camera. We're here, and you can see behind us, perhaps, at the backdrop, that we're not here for the last press conference before Frank Warren's big Wembley Arena show on Saturday. About half an hour before the press conference was due to start, we had some rather shocking news that Richard Lartey, Dubois' scheduled opponent, has had some visa issues, and he's not going to make it. So a search worldwide, perhaps, or at least UK-wide, is now ensued for a new opponent for Daniel Dubois. So we're actually here to announce, if you can see behind us, the signing by Frank Warren alongside Ringstar Sports of Joe Joyce, British Olympic silver medalist, to a promotional contract. And as we know, he's likely to be fighting Daniel Dubois for the vacant British title in July. Leon, I don't know about you, but I haven't adapted very well to this change in circumstance of having all this extra time to fill. I'm kind of going out of my mind a little bit. What about you?
I'm going out of my mind too. I've literally just walked in and discovered the news myself. So, you know, it's going to be quite an interesting press conference today.
Is this signing of Joe Joyce simply a case of Frank Warren doing the old Don King routine and hedging his bets a little bit? So whoever comes out on top in July, he's going to leave with the winner, if you like.
Well, if you were Frank Warren, what would you do?
Yeah, well, it's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of covered either way now, isn't he? Now the fight's definitely going to be made. But I was surprised Warren wanted to make the fight in the first place. When it went out for purse bids, I was almost convinced that it wouldn't actually happen. So many fights are too good to be true, but in this case, at the time, they were in different promotional camps. And also, Joyce seemed to be on the verge of world title contention. What does that say about him, that he's willing to step back to British title level to win that Lonsdale belt?
Well, without going into what that says about him, I'm just looking at the whole business side of it. All right, as a businessman, it makes strategic sense. I mean, since it was announced that the fight had been ordered between Dubois and Joe Joyce, there's been a lot of hype, a lot of talk about it on social media. And that's good for Frank and his team. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're expecting to see AJ fight in Jerome Miller. That's changed. Right, but something that everybody can look forward to in terms of fights in the heavyweight world is a fight between Joyce and Dubois. And if you're the man holding the cards for both boxers, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm sure Joyce was offered a very sexy deal, you know, very sexy, with stilettos, short skirt, the works. You know? So
we're getting an insight into what does it for you, which is good.
I didn't say that does it for me. Does it for them. I'm sure someone watching like stilettos and fishnet tights and short skirts. But
talking to you, Eddie.
But I'm not a mind reader, you know, so we can only, I'm sure, unless you've got a crystal ball. Can you read minds?
Well, there's actually a crystal ball in the FLEXpectations logo, so it's quite a neat little segue, and I appreciate you doing that. But no, I haven't got a crystal ball. However, I do think it's a great signing for Frank Warren, because I think Joe Joyce has got a lot of upside, even though he's, you know, slightly advanced in years. For a heavyweight, that's less important. He's got good fringe world level experience now. He's a great amateur, obviously. Just changed trainers to Adam Booth as well. I mean, what do you make of that side of it? There's a lot of change in the life and career of Joe Joyce at the moment. Is he all right to deal with that? Do you think that's going to be an issue going forward?
Well, I believe Joe Joyce is one of the smartest up-and-coming heavyweights in like the boxing world, full stop. Not even just UK level, like boxing world, full stop. And I believe that someone as smart and as sharp as he is, for him to make a change, it's because he believes that change is going to help him to get to where he wants to be, goal-wise. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. I'm confident in that. He's demonstrated that in the ring.
Saturday's show is obviously going to be hurt by the loss of Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is still fighting. Don't have a heart attack, Frank. The loss of Richard Lartey as Daniel Dubois' opponent, and as the search goes on, I'm thinking of pitching my own hat into the ring, depending on what money's on offer.
Call the paramedics, because I think Frank just heard you.
I mean, I better call the paramedics if I step in as well. But it's still a pretty deep card, so there's kind of a reassurance in that. What's your highlight of the undercard as it stands at the moment?
Do you know what? That's really interesting, because on the undercard, I really fancy... Right, pause, yeah? I really fancy Zach Chelli, pause.
Don't we all?
But I also like Leron, you know, I mean, he's in great shape. He's got the Commonwealth title, you know, on the line. But Chelli, right, there's something about him that I really like, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he performs on Saturday. So I don't know, but in the undercards, it's between Leron and Zach.
So you basically hate Tommy Langford, is what you're saying?
No. I'm not saying that I hate anybody. I'm just talking about the fights that I'm looking forward to in the undercard is going to be between Zach's performance and Leron's performance.
I agree with you. I think I've been waiting a long time to see Leron step up. He's fought journeyman for an opposition, as most prospects do, but he seems like a very intelligent fighter, very slick, comes from a great gym, the iBox in Bromley, which isn't too far away from where I live. Just really interested to see what he's learned from the likes of Bradley Skeet and Johnny Garton, and obviously Alan Smith himself at that gym. And it's a step up for him in terms of quality. I think Tommy Langford's fought at a high level, former British champion, but he's the natural super middleweight, whereas Langford's only recently moved up from middle. Didn't look great in his first fight at super middle either. So I think Richards is going to pull it out, but it's how impressive he can look against Langford as well. I think he's going to want to make a statement because he's not getting the attention perhaps that some of the other super middleweight prospects are. Chelly, for example.
Well, and this is why I'm looking forward to Leron, because it's a step up. I want to see how he performs, you know, because this is like a make or break for him right now. I believe he's got the goods, but you don't know what you don't know. We're just going to see what happens on Saturday night, because I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just excited to see the performance.
You mentioned that twice now. I think we need to gift you a crystal ball. I think there's a need in your life for a crystal ball.
You're just getting it. Yeah, I'm hinting here.
God's sake. We shouldn't go without mentioning the big US show taking place in Inglewood at the famous Forum in California this weekend. Big rematch there from a year ago rather, between Srisaket or Rungvisai, easy to say, against one Francisco Estrada at super flyweight. Great fight the first time round. I think it got round of the year in some of the award ceremonies. Action-packed fight, which Rungvisai, the Thai, won on a majority decision. A lot of people looking forward to the rematch. I'm quite looking forward to the chief support as well, which is Danny Roman unifying at super bantamweight with TJ Dehaney. What do you make of those two fights? Are you excited about that show?
I'm just excited about boxing.
That's a no.
No, I'm excited about boxing. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even know where I'm going to put my input in. I mean, what about you? How excited are you about that fight?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about both of the fights. I think Dehaney against Roman, I think you have to say, is Roman is almost guaranteed to be a war. I think they've both got the ability to box, but I think faced with each other's kind of pressure levels, endurance, fitness, I think they'll come head on. I think Roman is a surprisingly, you've got me saying it like that now. Roman, yeah. Roman, I think is a surprisingly big favourite. I think TJ Dehaney, when I looked yesterday, was available for like 11-2, which is a reigning world champion, and he won his world title in Japan. Really good fighter. I'm surprised you can get him at such good odds. I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility he wins that fight. Estrada, I thought was very close to winning the last fight, although the scorecards didn't necessarily reflect that.
Scorecards. Don't even get me started on scorecards.
We'll have to extend the programme, I think, but Rungvisai is obviously brutally strong and powerful and keeps coming, whereas Estrada's a little bit cuter, but it's where I think last time he got drawn into Rungvisai's game plan a bit too much, and if he can stick to his own strategy, I think he's got a better chance this time round.
So what are your predictions?
Putting me on the spot. See, I wouldn't get this if I was just here on my own.
I've got to do it.
I would say I fancy Estrada to actually win this time, maybe on a split decision. And I think
on a split decision.
On a split decision, yeah, because it was really close. I think it'll be really close again, but I think this time we'll get the rub of the green. I think Roman will probably have a little bit too much for Dehaney, but I would recommend anyone who wants to get value betting wise should go for Dehaney, because he is a massive odds, and it's a 50-50 fight virtually. Brilliant. All right, well, thanks for being here, Mr. Leon Witter. We hope we can do this again.
All right, Mr. Flex.
ProBoxingFans.com. Tune in, not as much as tune in to Seconds Out, but tune in just a little bit less. And I'll be back next week. Probably not with Leon, because it'll probably be in my house, but either way, I'll be back next week, 4:30 PM for FLEXpectations. Thanks very much.